Hey guys, welcome back to Red Carpet, your twice-a-week celebrity news show. Let's catch up on the biggest celebrity stories you need to know. So if you remember in a couple of previous news stories, I told you about this rumor going around that Timothée was allegedly a rapper called SD Kid. People were saying they look way too similar, like, come on, this has to be him, right? And honestly, what made this whole thing even more interesting is how smart Timothée played along with it. He never shut it down. In interviews, he'd just smile and say things like, well, I guess we'll find out later, which basically fueled the rumor even more. He never said no, not once. And then, just a few days ago, boom, they drop a music video together. So, yeah, now we officially know SD Kid is not Timmy. But here's the fun part. While all this was going on, Timothée also managed to casually promote his movie Marty Supreme. And at the same time, he threw in a very cheeky reference to Kylie. At one point, he says something like, trying to stack 100 million, girl got a billion. And yeah, we all know Kylie is a billionaire, so that line definitely landed. So technically, that whole rumor storyline is over now. But honestly, as a marketing campaign, it was kind of genius. But allegedly, Timothée isn't exactly celebrating right now. Rumors say he's actually very stressed and upset because he's likely going to lose the Oscar to Leonardo DiCaprio for one battle after another. And apparently, this really bothers him because he always wanted to win an Oscar in his 20s, and well, next year, he turns 30. Which is wild, because let's be honest, he does not look like a 30-year-old man at all. But you know who probably does not care about any of this? Yep, Kylie. If you've been following the channel, you already know how things have been between Timothée and the Kardashians. From day one, he clearly tried to keep his distance. He never really mixed himself into that world. It was almost like he was quietly saying, you guys are not really on my level. So either he just wouldn't show up to their events at all, or if he did, he'd literally sneak in and out so no one would notice. Like, God forbid he'd be caught on camera. But this week, something interesting came out. Apparently, Timothée was actually at the big Kardashian Christmas party. And how do we know that? From the most random photo ever. This year, Timothée's name showed up on their annual gingerbread house display. The photo was posted by Atiana, Kourtney's stepdaughter, but honestly, I kind of think Kylie was behind it. I might be wrong, but still, it definitely suggests that Timmy was there. Now, to be fair, this year's party wasn't as massive as usual because they had just celebrated Chris's 70th birthday, so they kept things a bit smaller. That said, Khloé's outfit and jewelry were absolutely stunning. Kim wore a vintage Mugler dress from 1985, which was iconic. And Kendall, who is always insanely well-dressed, wore a vintage Mugler look too, and she looked amazing. Now, this week on the new episode of The Kardashians, they showed Kim failing the bar exam. If you follow me, you already know this actually happened months ago, but the show is behind, so that's why it's airing now.
I didn't make it.
How do you know?
How do you know?
It says fail.
No.
It's okay. I figured that.
One thing people keep talking about is why they're focusing so much on Kim failing this exam. Like, why keep pushing this storyline? Naturally, you'd think that if someone really wanted to become a lawyer, they'd study, pass the exam, and then say, hey guys, I worked hard for years and I finally did it. That would have been way more classy and honestly, way less embarrassing. People are saying that since Kim is very close to Elon Musk, and she constantly promotes his products like Tesla cars and even that robot, even though she's not officially a brand ambassador, maybe she's planning something bigger. The theory says she might eventually get a Neuralink chip and then suddenly be like, oh my god, look, I passed the bar exam with Neuralink. Personally, I don't really buy it. It doesn't make much sense. What do you think? Is this just a conspiracy theory, or could there be something there? Anyway, moving on. You probably already know that the new Avatar movie Fire and Ash has been released. It actually did pretty well over the Christmas box office, making around $24 million. So naturally, James Cameron has been doing interview after interview, and honestly, I don't know if it's age or if something is genuinely bothering him, even though he recently became a billionaire and should technically be very happy, but he has been on a mission to absolutely roast everyone. You've probably heard Matt Damon tell this story a million times. He always says that he was originally offered the lead role in Avatar with a huge salary plus 10% of the movie's profits, and that he turned it down like an idiot and now deeply regrets it. He has told this story over and over and over again. Well, this week, James Cameron came out and said, "Yeah, he keeps saying that, but I honestly don't remember offering him anything. That never happened." He basically said Matt Damon should stop blaming himself because there was no opportunity for him to lose in the first place. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. And then, in another interview, James Cameron went after Amy Poehler, and he was clearly angry. Like, revenge-level angry. So, I don't know if you remember this or not, but back at the Golden Globes in 2013, Kathryn Bigelow was nominated for Best Director for Zero Dark 30, starring Jessica Chastain. Now, fun little piece of history here, Kathryn Bigelow also happens to be James Cameron's ex-wife. They were married from 1989 to 1991. That night, Amy Poehler decided to go there with a joke.
Haven't really been following the controversy over Zero Dark 30, but when it comes to torture, I trust the lady who spent 3 years married to James Cameron.
Now, Cameron wasn't even in the room that night, but apparently, he really held on to that grudge. Because this week, in an interview, he finally responded. He said, "Amy Poehler's remark was an ignorant dig at an event which is supposed to be a celebration of cinema and filmmakers, not a roast. I'm pretty thick-skinned and happy to be the butt of a good joke, but that went too far." And he didn't stop there. He also said something else that raised a lot of eyebrows. He said that if Disney doesn't greenlight Avatar 4 and Avatar 5, he already has alternative ways to finish the story. He literally said, "If we don't make parts 4 and 5 for whatever reason, I'll hold a press conference and tell you exactly what we plan to do. How does that sound?" Now, I don't know about you, but that kind of felt like a threat. Oh, and remember when I told you in a previous video that Russell Brand had spoken at an event and complained about Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau? And I said maybe he should be more focused on the allegations against him, especially with him expected to go to court next year. Well, this week, more people came forward. Several additional individuals have now accused him of sexual assault and more. For years now, he's been trying to rebrand himself, going full spiritual mode, pushing strange conspiracy theories, acting like some kind of modern monk, clearly trying to distract people from the accusations. Some people really do the most to avoid accountability. And finally, some lighter news. Céline is back with a Christmas video. On December 24th, she posted a very cute holiday message on Instagram, wishing everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. She recreated a Grinch-style moment from How the Grinch Stole Christmas, joking about last-minute invitations and how even if she wanted to go, her schedule just wouldn't allow it.
5 o'clock, solve world hunger.
And of course, she also jokes about her dinner plans, a solo dinner with herself that she absolutely cannot cancel. But in the end, she realizes that maybe, just maybe,
I can just simply wish everyone Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
All right, guys, that's all the craziness for today. If you had fun hanging out with me, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss next week's drama. Love you all, stay safe, stay cute, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!